Hello and welcome to my channel. This is just a short little video how to make 2D game assets basically for free in that you can use in Godot or any other game engine you want to. And nowadays it's a really nice time because if you're like me and you have no skills as an artist whatsoever, you can actually use AI to create a lot of for you. So basically what I've done, I went to the Google image creation and the Gemini AI image generator, this one here, and then try Gemini. So basically you jump into a Google image creator or whatever image creator there is available to you right now. And as of speaking right now, there's a lot of companies that try to win the AI market. So there's a lot of image generators out there that you can use for free. And all you have to do is basically tell the engine what to make. So I started off with a prompt here, and then I just iterated on the prompt to see what results I got. And then I always changed the prompt a little bit. So you have to make sure that you tell the AI what kind of style you want. So I went initially with just the comic style of a goblin running towards the right side. So it just needs to know what kind of he should generate for you. He swings his sword and carries a small shield. The background should be plain white. The plain white background is important that we can remove it later with Krita, so our picture editing software. And I need a clear backline around the goblin. That's just to make it look good kind of in the whole space of the game later on. So the initial goblin that was created, it kind of wasn't colored out perfectly. So I don't know why it just colored out some parts of it, but not the whole goblin. This actually looks like a really cool goblin and probably is one of the best results, but it wasn't colored out. And basically you could also take this one and just color it out yourself. I really want to have a very easy process of making the game asset. That's why I'm not going to pick this one. I will just add the prompt a little bit, and then I added something like make sure to fill out the goblin and the sword and shield with appropriate colors, and then it kind of created this one for me. But yeah, now there's an issue here with the sword because these kind of wind or swooshing animation kind of this kind of thing would just, hurt the outline a little bit. So I told him to remove sword movement effect and that disturbed the outline of the goblin. The goblin kind of got worse from here. I don't like this goblin as much. And also this kind of sword looks kind of magic. And this should just be a small goblin that attacks my base in my case. So I'm not super happy with this one. Then I told him take this goblin and make his sword a metal saber. So I just changed a little bit of kind of the idea of having a saber instead of a sword. He kind of also changed the whole goblin, and this one I like the least. So I kind of started off from the beginning again and had some small changes to the prompt. And here we got this result. This one was quite nice, actually. Then I told him to make 3 different pictures. I kind of like having the AI making several, like even a sprite sheet for me. That's what I do a lot, so that I can basically just choose which one I take out. And this one is actually quite nice. I'm gonna take this one and download this one to use it later on. And I also tried some different kind of cartoon styles. So this one here, David Finch cartoon style, was also quite nice, but then we got a kind of colored magic sword again. I tried some black and white. This one is also quite nice, actually, if you want to color it yourself. And this one here is the last one I tried, Don Rosa's cartoon style. But that's how we got our basic image done. And all we have to do now is open up Krita, and you can already see here my old projects. So for example, this one here, I told the AI to create trees for me, a big sprite sheet with a lot of different trees, and then I used like 3 of them to make special trees. But this one we're not going to use. Now we're going to try to open up what we got created from the AI. And basically what I need now is just this guy running towards my base for my game. And in this case, this one already looks really nice, but I will have to remove the background. And I want to remove the background because obviously we want the background to be any other color, or maybe there's grass or some other things in the back. And to do that, I have to make a PNG and remove the background. And if you haven't used Krita before, Krita is free to use, which is really amazing. It's open source, so you don't have to pay anything, and it can do everything that like Photoshop or like, you know, it's basically like Paint, but a little bit more complex. And there's a lot of things you can do, especially with the layers. This is very useful. So for example, you could make a new layer on top here. If I could actually do something here, why can't I click? There we go. So I could make a layer on top here, and then I could paint solely on this layer. And so this one is white, so you can't see it that well. So green, but if you make it invisible, so I can basically just paint on different kind of layers. Now I can remove that layer again, and all my changes are deleted again. But yeah, this is a really amazing tool. I can only recommend you to get to know it. It's awesome. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to use this contiguous selection tool. I am going to select the whole background, and you can already see here that it selected the background here. And basically it just selects everything. And I also want to select this background and this background and this background. So I just press Shift and click again. And maybe even this background here. And this and this. Oh, there's a small one as well. And then I hit delete. So now from this layer here that I selected, I deleted all the background. And what we can do now, if we need a clearer outline of, or remove the outline, we could actually grow the selection or invert the selection. So for example, now I inverted the selection. So now I have the goblin selected. Now I could, for example, grow the selection like this. Grow selection, let's say by 2 pixels. Now we have the goblin selected, and now I could make a new layer, for example, make sure that I'm working only on this new layer. Then I take the paintbrush, make it very large, and now I could basically, now I'm painting over the other layer, but now you will see what I want to do in a second. So basically now if I switch the layers around, then what I did here is basically to increase the black around the goblin. So I'm going to deselect here. And if I remove the visual of the background here, now you can see I just increased the black surrounding of the goblin. And what else I want to do is actually remove the shadow here, because the shadow is the shadow here we don't need, because I want to have the shadow separately from the sprite. So I go press E. E is just here the erase function. I put on the brush again, and I will just erase the shadow here. And now I have to kind of make it a little bit. So this one will look a bit broken, but yeah, that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect, really. So there we go. And there we go. So this deleted this part here. If I want to have the shadow here as well, let's go and make sure that we are working on the right layer. But then Here we go. We're gonna make the shadow here somewhat nicer as well. There we go. And all in all, this process takes just a little bit of time. And there we go. That is basically the sprite that we can use. And then we go save it as a new sprite. Well, actually, what you can do here is save it as a Krita save. Then you can always use it again in the same kind of format with these layers. So I usually like to save it as a Krita archive goblin. There we go. And then we can export it. And the important thing that comes here, we need to export it as a PNG. So where do we have it? PNG image, goblin 2. There we go. And if we go into Godot now, and let's just put in a child node, and we're just going to go for a sprite. And then we have to put in the goblin, which is now in my downloads. I will have to put it in the right order. Godot tower defense builder. So basically, now that I put the goblin into the right order of my assets in the right folder here, it will be imported here in the file system as well. So here we go. That's the goblin 2. And now that I have this sprite, I can put in this goblin here. And obviously it's way too large, but it does exactly what I wanted it to do. So if I move it around, you can see that everything in the background just stays exactly the way it is. And this is the way that you can make a new game asset very quickly. It's a 2D game asset, but it's basically just a initial sprite, and you can kind of make new sprites based on this one, also with the AI image generator. But this is the way you can make actually good-looking sprites, even if you have no artistic skills whatsoever, in a very quick and in a resource saving manner. So yeah, that's basically it from me. Thank you guys for tuning in, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.